dirty, goes inside and digs that out. Other guy who likes to get dirty on us is our Ernie. I'm sorry, EJ. Is our Ernie Johnson in our studios?
Hey, I resemble that remark. Thanks a lot, Kevin. This is a live look at the Indiana Pacers and the Orlando Magic. Good game on NBA TV. Of course, the Pacers trying to close Orlando, short-handed Orlando out, and George Hill increasing the lead to 3, 59-56. Again, they led by 15 in the first half. It's on NBA TV. Back to y'all.
Thank you, EJ. George Hill, the former San Antonio Spur, came in that trade, which allowed the Spurs then to draft Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, they drafted Kawhi Leonard, but I think Frank Vogel, Larry Bird should get Executive of the Year. You bring it in David West, really have changed the culture. That building is rocking. The city of Indianapolis is popping again. It's playoff time.
Kirk Hinrich puts up a 21-foot jump shot and puts it in. Kirk Hinrich hitting the shot. Is he more comfortable, you think, starting or coming off the bench?
Well, he's a better role player, so coming off the bench. He's only had 2 points the last 2 ball games. Maybe that can get him going a little bit more comfortable off that bench.
Rayon with a nice pass, Barnett with a nice fake, and that's the result. We were talking to Doc before the game, Reg. He said our ball movement has never been better.
Well, and I think they are in tune with one another because with Kevin Garnett at the center position, he's a stretch center now, and most centers don't want to come out 15, 18 feet. So he will always have the advantage.
Celtics have a foul to give. Hinrich. They go to Smith. Shot clock is down to 4. Garnett is defending. Rebound by Kevin. Plenty of time with which to work. Here comes Ray. Off to Garnett. Smith will defend him. Good if it goes. Down it goes. Kevin Garnett has just taken and made his first three-point basket of this series, putting a 7-point Boston lead in the books at the end of one. The former MVP, the former defensive player. You see the change in our score. They ruled it initially a 3-point shot by Garnett as we were heading to the end of the first quarter. They have ruled it a 2. They said his foot was on the line, so it is 21-15. At the end of one, going to our second quarter. Quick timeout taken. 10 seconds into the second. We'll take a break. Hey fans, score Celtics and Hawks playoff gear at NBAstore.com and get free shipping on orders over $99. NBAstore.com, one store, every team. Shot clock at 10. Here's McGrady working on Pietrus. Dooling goes out on the sharpshooter. That is Kirk Hinrich, former Chicago Bull, former Washington Wizard. And he's got a basket right there.
Hinrich played pretty well in games 1 and 2. 12 points in game 1, 8 in game 2. It hasn't been seen since.
Heinrich's got 5 coming off the bench. There's a missed shot from outside. And Garnett let it fling. Foul is called on Dampier, and Dampier picks up his second personal foul so far.
I like the activity, and Doc Rivers going with Ryan Hollins and Kevin Garnett, 2 7-footers here. Remember, the Celtics are not a great rebounding team. Bottom half and offensive rebounding, team rebounding. Now you got a little size here.
If you go back to game 2, Hollins came in for 6 minutes in that contest, but they were energy-filled minutes. The stats won't wow you, but his energy was huge. Here is Ray, who is fouled as he takes that shot, meaning he'll take 3 free throws with the foul going on Willie Green, who is in for the first time in the contest. He picks up his first personal foul, but when Hollins comes in, he just gives a energy to Boston, and that's what Doc loves.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of big bodies. Remember, Jeff Green was out all year because of the heart ailment. They lose Chris Wilcox. They waive Jermaine O'Neal. They pick up Ryan Hollins late, and he is one of those energy players off the bench. Especially offensive tips, keeps offensive possessions alive for the Celtics.
Ray Allen 2 of 4 in the playoffs from the free throw line.
Rare.
Right there, you know, everything is really kind of falling inside two-point territory. He hasn't had much success from 3, and he hasn't had much success, as you just said, from the free throw line.
Yeah, it's very rare to see Ray Allen missing free throws, and you know something's not all the way correct when one of the greatest free throw shooters of all time is missing them.
When you had bone spurs, did it affect your free throw shooting at all?
Yeah, it's your lift, because you're coming up on your ankles, and that's where the pain is occurring.
On your toes, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce back on the floor.
Gonna watch that knee. Here's a shot by Horford. Will not go. Rebound by Allen. Atlanta is 7 of 23 from the floor. Hollins was shoved and fouled. He couldn't get the pass. Horford trying to get position on him. Will pick up the foul, and that's the first on Big Al Horford. Joe Johnson's going to check back in. Josh Smith is going to check back in. How about Josh Smith's start? He's 0 of 7 so far for Atlanta.
He's had some point-blank dunks and shots at the rim that just hasn't seemed to fall. And remember now, we don't think he's 100% because of his left knee injury as well.
Zampier and Green will check out for Atlanta. Atlanta's got 3 team fouls already. Through the hands of Hollins. Run right through his fingertips for Boston turnovers in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, that's a tough catch for Ryan Hollins, a guy that's not used to getting those big passes down low.
Here's McGrady. He rolled his ankle in game 3, was limited in game 4. That's an interception. It's made by Paul Pierce. It's the 7th Atlanta turnover, and Pierce came in weird and off balance, and there is that hobbling Paul Pierce, and that knee again, a little bulky tonight.
Kev, he does not have that explosive first step at all, because normally that would have been a 2-step and right at the rim. You saw he just pulled up right there.
We told you he was not a shoot-around today to get treatment instead. They go inside here, working on McGrady. Paul is not right. Garnett picks it up. A 2-man game, Pierce with Josh Smith guarding Kevin Garnett, doubled by McGrady. Great ball rotation. Keon Dooling for 3. The ball movement for Boston continues to be at its highest level this year.
You know, and it's all fueled really by their defensive effort. These guys are 2 or 3 steps ahead of the Atlanta Hawks, and which is allowing them to get early transition buckets, but set up their offense and get the Hawks in those rotation passes.
Boy, they need Josh Smith to score, and he has just not done it tonight. 0 of 8. Johnson is 1 of 4, so the big guns.
I tell you what, Ryan Hollins has been so aggressive at the offensive end, just causing all kinds of havoc down low for the Hawks.
You know who's good with Hollins and Steamsma is Garnett. You constantly see Kevin Garnett talking to these younger players, coaching them, guiding them through. And that's where Garnett has been so incredibly unselfish as he leads this young team in terms of center play.
That's why I truly believe in mentoring programs. Having older guys that's been through a few wars on your team, it just really helps the younger players understand what it takes to be champions.
Paul Pierce a 3. Josh Smith, by the way, just picked up his 2nd personal foul. This is off of Boston, and Atlanta will inbound. Boston is led by as many as 8. Hawks have led by as many as 1.
Got Jeff Teague, and looks like Rondo getting ready to check back in here.
Teague is in for McGrady. And Rajon Rondo, who's wearing a big heat wrap on his back, will check in momentarily for the Celtics.
Talk about the struggles of Atlanta. They're only shooting 29% from the field with 7 turnovers here in this first half.
Heinrich defended by Dooling. Rejected inside by Keon Dooling. Screened by Teague. Switch on defense. Ball knocked away. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
How about Keon Dooling? The effort defensively off the bench here for Doc Rivers has been huge. You really don't lose anything with Rondo going for a rest.
4 seconds on the shot clock here. 9:15 in the second quarter. Heinrich to Teague on the fly. And a bad-looking shot, but I'm going to credit the defense of Rondo and Garnett on that one more so than the poor shot.
Seems like every time Atlanta's shooting, they're shooting over 2 green jerseys.
Boston with a win tonight can close out this series. They've won 3 consecutive games after losing game 1 on this floor to begin the best of 7 first-round Eastern Conference matchup against Atlanta. Ray Allen again going in tight. Second time tonight, he has taken it right to the rack.
And if he is having those painful bone spurs, it's not really showing because he's still taking the ball off the dribble here.
And the Hawks, they've missed 4 in a row. Garnett is on Joe Johnson. We'll switch on D. Horford. Pitiful shooting by Atlanta. 26% in a elimination game. What they say about Boston when they watched them come out in Game 4 Sunday when you and I were up in Boston, how they were admiring the Celtics, the Hawks were saying they were crisp on coming off of screens and they moved so effortlessly on the floor. Here's a 3. Rebound by Johnson. Ahead to Heinrich.
Atlanta should be very fortunate they're only down 8 points right here because Paul Pierce on those swing passes out top has had 2 wide open threes that really could have put this in double.
Here's Johnson.
Rush shots, tough shots, no flow or chemistry or rhythm to the Atlanta offense.
Triple team Garnett.
Make the easy one. Wide open layup. No need to be flashy.
Joe Johnson across the lane. And he finally gets one to go. But the starters for Rich, 5 of 25 for the Hawks.
You know, I'm Joe Johnson. I'm going to shoot the basketball at least 25 times tonight. Go down with your guns a-blazing.
Boston shooting 39%, the backpedaling and traveling Bass. That's 5 turnovers for Boston.
Well, Joe Johnson struggling with his outside shot. You see his 2 field goals. They're all been dribble drive penetration into the paint.
Ray Allen will come out. Here comes Avery Bradley back in the contest for the Boston Celtics, who are 1 win away from advancing to the second round. Reggie, Atlanta has gone to the second round 3 consecutive years.
That's a lot of talk around here on talk radio about this team and possibly blowing it up because are they going to go any further? They seem to always just get to the second round and lose.
Good move by Johnson.
I feel he has the height advantage over Avery Bradley. Let's see if Larry Drew is going to try to use that to the Hawks' advantage down low.
Johnson has 6 and 9 points in game number 4 Sunday in Boston. Switch on defense. It's Garnett. The close by Smith. Rebound tried by Bass. Picked up by Marvin Williams. Out it goes to Teague. On the fly, Johnson by Bradley. Pierce. Now the ball's beginning to stick a little bit. Here comes Josh Smith. Where's the ball movement?
Yeah, and that's the problem. This is the old Atlanta Hawks where just a lot of dribble, one-on-one basketball. Where's that ball movement? And that plays right into the hands of a great defensive team like the Boston Celtics. That's where that wall comes into effect.
Rondo, Brandon Bass. Hollins trying to get out of Horford's way. Horford comes up with the loose ball. And Teague thinking about 3. Launched by Joe Johnson. Rebound by Josh Smith.
And he probably says, finally, I get one to go. Offensive rebound in here, keeping Atlanta Hawks in this ball game in the first half.
Boston was cashing in on points off turnovers. Here is Bass with a good-looking shot outside. Brandon Bass, who is averaging about 4 points less in the playoffs than the regular season. By the way, Reg, that stops a field goal drought for the Boston Celtics of a little over 5 minutes.
You might want to note that was only Rondo's 2nd assist. Remember, he had 13 assists in that first half, a Celtic record in Game 4.
And he has a streak of 27 consecutive games of double-digit games with assists and out of bounds. Bradley stepped when he was out of the blocks. The 7th Boston turnover.
Well, when you're struggling offensively and from your shot, sometimes luck just comes your way. The ball just falls into the lap of Josh Smith. Nice putback there to get his first basket of the evening. 1 of 9.